This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let's start. So we were trying to set up the target system. In the target system, we already created a company code and we already created few business areas. Although business areas are not directly assigned to the company code, but for our scenario, we created some business areas and we have also maintained the mappings for that particular business areas. Right. So now we will continue with our remaining settings in the target system. Okay, so we just assign the global parameters to our company code, but there are a lot of other settings. Yesterday we were trying to set up the ledgers for our new company code that we created in our target system. Okay, and just to make it more complicated, what we are doing is we are adding multiple ledgers, at least one additional ledger. So although from my source system, it will just push one ledger, I want to see multiple ledgers in my SAP S4HANA system, that central finance system in short. So in order to create the ledgers, I will go to financial accounting global settings. You have this option of ledgers here, again a ledger, and this is where you will be able to set up the new ledgers. Right, this is a new screen. This is not same as what it was in ECC, and that is the reason, as I told you, if you want to understand all these things in detail, then maybe you need to go through some additional things, because if we talk about those things here, it will unnecessarily deviate our topic and we will be lost in just the S4 HANA finance without working on the central finance. So what I'll do here is I'll just create a new ledger. Okay, and let me try IF if it is not already available. And let's say it is a ledger that I'm creating for IFRS purpose. Okay, obviously it is a non-leading ledger because there can be only one leading ledger even in S4HANA. You are working on ECC or S4HANA, there cannot be more than one leading ledger. There is only one leading ledger, and by default that is 0L. So I'm creating this as a standard ledger. Okay, I don't want to unnecessarily create a confusion for the extension ledgers. I'm creating this as a standard ledger itself, and let's try to save it. It already exists. Okay, let's try maybe I1. Okay, so I1 has worked. Let's try to save it. And then I need to activate this new ledger that I created to my company code. Okay, so I'll select this ledger, go to the company code settings, click on the new entry, and here I need to assign it to my own company code which we created. So in our case, it is CF03, right? This is what we created. And if I just press enter, system will automatically bring the fiscal year variant, posting period variant information about this company code. Okay, and now you can see there is one more thing called as accounting principle. So whenever you are using multiple ledgers in your company code, normally the reason why you are using multiple ledgers is because you want to report in different accounting principles. Maybe you want to report in US GAAP, you want to report in IFRS. If it is a company in India, you want to report in Indian GAAP. So based on your local authorities, you want to report in different accounting principles. That is the whole purpose of creating different ledgers. So what we need to do is we need to assign the accounting principle. Even maybe here itself, I can assign the accounting principle. So I'm taking the existing value rather than creating a new one. So let's say this is for IFRS. So I'm assigning the accounting principle 1FRS to my new ledger that I created, that is I1. Okay, let's try to save it. Okay, same way, the leading ledger, which is obviously by default assigned to each and every company code, I also want to make sure that the leading ledger is also assigned to the accounting principle. So for leading ledger, what I'll do is I will go to ledger 0L. So let me go back. And this is my leading ledger. You can see there is only one leading ledger. I'll select this in my company code settings. Okay, for company code CF03, I want to make sure that this is assigned to accounting principle, let's say GAAP. Okay, so what I'll do is I will assign this to, let's say this one, GGAP. Okay, this is up to us, or maybe I can go with this Indian accounting standards. Okay, so this is just a reference purpose. It has no functionality in its own. This is just a text kind of field which tells the system that leading ledger 0L is being used to report in Indian GAAP accounting principles. That's it. Okay, let's try to save it. Why I'm creating this accounting principles? Because you must have seen in the mappings, you can also assign the accounting principles from the source system to accounting principles in the target system. Now, if you are not using accounting principles in your source system at all, then system will automatically get defaulted based on the ledger that it is posting. Okay, so now even ledger settings are active.
I think it's breaking.
For our company code, we activated two ledgers. One is leading ledger and second is, we go back. Okay, what is next? So let me just verify. Fiscal year we have already done. Parallel, this all things we have done. This is a new folder that you will find only in SAP S4HANA. Integration of controlling with financial accounting. Because what has happened in S4HANA is traditionally in ECC system, FI and CO, they were treated as completely independent components, although they were integrated with each other, but the tables, the transaction codes, they were completely independent of each other. Now in S4HANA, FI, CO, asset accounting, material ledger, and account-based COPA. These are the five components which are clubbed together, and all the information is getting stored in the universal journal, which is nothing but table AC doc A. So for that reason, the way it was treated in ECC, FI and CO, they were treated as separately, but in S4HANA, FI and CO are merged, and that is the reason there is no need to use the old reconciliation ledger functionality of SAP ECC. By default, FI and CO will be always reconciled because they are storing the data in the same table, right? So there is a new node here called as integration of controlling with financial accounting. This is very important to configure in the target system. Okay, without this, you will not be able to post anything in neither in FI and nor in CO. Because if you are posting any FI document also, normally it contains some cost object. So if you want to transfer the values from FI to CO, all these configurations are mandatory. Okay, so I'll quickly just show you which are these configurations. Number one is define the document types for postings to controlling. There is a new document type which is introduced by SAP in S4HANA called as CO. Document type CO is for controlling document. Why this is required? Because traditionally in ECC, whenever I post any secondary posting, secondary means CO to CO, CO object to CO object posting without impacting financials. In that case, it will not generate any accounting document. It will just generate the controlling document and it is completely independent of the accounting document. But now, since we said FI and CO, both are using common storage, common table, common functionality, and that is the reason even the CO secondary postings that you will be making, those will also generate the document called as universal journal document in AC docket table. So how will you identify whether this is a FI document or this is a CO document? So we can identify based on the document type. So all the allocations, settlements, whatever you do in the secondary postings in CO, they will also generate the universal journal document, and that universal journal document will be having the document type CO by default. If you want, you can change the behavior of the standard system, but by default, it will consist of the document type CO. Okay, how you can change the behavior? So for that, SAP has provided these two additional activities. Number one is, this is where you create the document type mapping variant. Now by default, SAP provides the standard one, which is this one. Okay, you can just go through this. You can see for all the business transactions, all the different business transactions which are there in CO. So assessment, distribution, allocation, settlement, these are all the CO related transactions, right? So we are telling the system for each transaction what should be my document type. If a transaction is company within the company, then document type CO. But if a transaction is cross company, then SAP also provided another document type called as CC. CC will be used when you are trying to allocate the cost between two cost centers which are in different company codes. So for example, there is a cost center in company code 1 and there is a cost center in company code 2. You are moving the cost from one cost center to another cost center. So it will not only trigger the CO document, but it will also impact your company code postings. And that is the reason you can use a separate cross company code document type. Okay, so this is pre-delivered. We don't need to worry about this document type mapping variant. I'm just giving you the hint that this is where you will be able to set up, because these are the things that you need to set up in your target system before you start initial load and before you start replicating the postings. Okay, so this is where you can see there are a lot of document mapping variants. How the system will know that which document type mapping variant is related to your company code. So that is exactly what you do in the third configuration activity. So here you define for my company code which document type mapping variant I want to use. So in our case, if I want to use standard one, I need to tell the system that for CF03, okay, you can see there is no value at all. So I need to click on new entries. I will tell the system that CF03 from today's date or maybe from this year onwards, 01/01/2020, it will use document type mapping variant as the standard one, which is this one. Okay, and if you want to provide the default ledger group, it is always 0L. Default ledger is always 0L. It is saying cost accounting is not active in company code CF03. What does it mean? It is saying cost accounting is not active in company code CF03. So no controlling area assignment was defined. Why? We already done yesterday, right? Let's go to OKKP.
Vikram, if we leave the OL blank, by default it will be OL, right?
Yeah. If you leave it blank, by default it will take OL.
Okay, thank you.
So do you remember which controlling area we created yesterday? Have we created or not? No, we are not created.
Probably did not.
Yeah, we are getting confused with the source system. We have not created that in the target system yet. So yes, before we go into that configuration, we have to set up the controlling area also. So I will go to IMG. Okay, so in controlling, general controlling, organization, and maintain controlling area. And here I need to create a new controlling area. Let's give the same code, that is CF03. Okay, this would be same as company code, or maybe if you want, you can have a cross company code costing or cost accounting. It totally depends upon your business scenario. Okay, I'll click on this company code same as controlling area so that it will automatically populate these values. Okay, so this would be same as company code, and again I will just provide CF03. System will automatically create this hierarchy in the background. Okay, let's try to save it first. Yes. Okay, then we will assign our controlling area to our company code. Okay, so I'll go to assignment of company code, new entries. This will be also CF03. And last one is we have to activate the components that we want to use. So if you want to use cost center accounting, internal orders, profitability analysis, those things we need to specify here. So from 2020 onwards, I want to use cost center accounting and I want to use order management. Let's try to save it. Okay, so now our controlling area is ready, which can be used in this configuration that we were talking about, integration of FI and CO. So I'll again go back to this configuration, financial accounting, global settings, ledgers, and integration of controlling with financial accounting. So here again, what I'll do is new entry CF03, valid from 01/01/2020. Ledger group, as Aisha said, that if you keep it blank by default, it will take 0L, and document type mapping variant would be the standard one that we want to use, which is this one. Okay, let's try to save it now. Okay, so now system knows that whenever any CO posting will be made, either distribution, allocation, whatever it is, system will automatically take the document type CO or document type CC. Okay, last one, also very important. If you don't do this, none of your accounting entries will get posted if they are having the CO cost objects, which is define ledgers for CO version. Okay, so this is also very straightforward. You need to come here, you need to specify your controlling area. In our case, it is CF03. Version, normally the standard version that we use in controlling area is 0. And we want to assign this to the leading ledger. Okay, what is the purpose of this configuration is you are telling the system which ledger in my company code is responsible to send the values to the controlling area. So normally only leading ledger values we transfer to version 0 of controlling area. For other non-leading ledgers, normally we don't transfer the values to controlling. Okay, if you want, you have to add an additional line here. If you want to transfer the values of non-leading ledgers also to your controlling area, with obviously with different version. Okay, let's try to save it now. Okay, so these are all the standard configurations. Now I think we are almost ready with the setup that we needed in the target system. If you want, you can try, as long as this is a sandbox system, you can try whether my accounting is working fine in this system or not. Okay, what will happen otherwise? When you do the initial load or whenever you do the replications, if your target system itself is not configured properly from the accounting point of view, definitely it will not be able to generate any accounting documents. Right? So if you want to make sure, normally we don't post anything directly in the central finance. So as long as this is your sandbox system, what you can do is just to verify that whether all my postings are working correctly or not, I will just try to create one accounting document. But before that, have you created any GLs? No. So we have to create the GLs and we have to map those GLs to the source system. So first I will go to FS00 to create few GL accounts. Okay, obviously in company code CF03. Okay, here we have the GL accounts of 6 characters. If you remember yesterday, we have decided that we will create the GLs of 6 characters. So GL account, let's take, I want to create the GL account for expenses. So 40000 5 times 0. Okay, and here our company code is CF03. Okay, there is a new field again. This is a new functionality again in SAP S/4HANA. There is a new field called as GL account type. So for profit and loss accounts, you will go to primary cost or revenue. Account groups, we created 2 yesterday. So we will continue with profit and loss. Short text we will provide here is the same text that we have used for our source system GL account. Okay, little bit here or there is okay, but what I mean to say is refreshment should be booked. Refreshment should be mapped to the refreshment. It should not happen that there is a GL account of travel there and which you are mapping with the central finance refreshment account. right? So description wise, it can be different, but the purpose should be same. Okay, so instead of in my source system, the description is refreshment expenses. Here I am creating refreshment. That is completely fine because I'll be mapping this two GLs using the mapping tables. But the purpose should not be different. Travel GL account should not be mapped with the entertainment or something like that, right? That is very important. Let's go to control data. It is not a reconciliation account, but it is definitely the cost element, because whenever I'll be booking the expenses, system may ask me the cost center, profit center, cost object, right? So that is the reason I need to specify this as primary cost element. In ECC, there was a button here to create the cost element. That button is no more there, and you are able to enter all those values here in S4HANA. Okay, create bank interest tab. In the field status group, you have to specify that this is my G004, which means it is my cost account. Okay, let's try to save it. G004 doesn't. I think someone has made the changes in the standard field status variant. G004 is very common. So let's take YB04. So instead of G0, the prefix is YB here. Okay. Okay, let's try to save it now. So we were able to create this GL account in our company code. Let's change the company code to avoid confusion. CF03. We just created one single GL account. Now we need to map this GL account also to the source GL account, which means whenever any document will be posted in my source system, it should automatically go and post in this GL account in the target system. So what do you think? Where should I go? Is it a key mapping or a value mapping? GL account mapping, what do you think? Is it a key mapping or value mapping or cost object?
Key mapping. Key mapping.
Sorry, key mapping. Okay, you're saying key mapping. Okay, let's try. So I'll go to the target system settings. In the mappings, we will go to key mapping, and here I will click on create and edit key mapping. As we know, this will open the screen in the browser. Okay, this is a BRF plus technology which is being used in the background. We don't need to worry about what exactly is BRF plus and how exactly it works. But only thing is, just remember that all these tables which are we are entering the values, this is nothing but the BRF plus technology. Okay, so now we have a business object. Our business object is general ledger account. Business object type is general ledger account, which is this one, general ledger account master data. Okay, system will automatically give you the business system that we are using, and object type is general ledger account master data. This is again coming automatically. If there are multiple values, then you can select from here. So there is only single value, so no need to worry. Now the question is, for which GL account you want to map? What is our source GL account? Any idea what is our source GL account, or what is our target GL account?
So this will be our S4 chart of account that we created. So I forgot the ID. CF0 something.
Let's go to CF03 first of all. Our chart of account is CF03, and our GL account for the target system that we created is this one, right? 4 and 5 times 0. Let's click on OK, and let's click on show. See, as of now, key mapping does not exist for this object. Okay, we are looking at the target system. That is the reason I'm showing like this. If you select the source system, then you have to provide the source system GL. So we are looking at the information that whether is there any mapping available for in the target system for this company or for this chart of account and this GL account. So currently there is no such mapping. If I want to create a mapping, you will click on add row. Okay, so here you need to tell the system that my GL account 400000 is assigned to my source system, which is EPX client 800. Okay, and from here, the values that will come is, what is our chart of account and what is our GL account? Our chart of account in the source system is
Not sure.
CF01, right?
Yeah.
CF01, and the GL account is 4000, 4 digits characters, right? Click on OK. So now it has been mapped. This is how you will be mapping the keys.
Can you just repeat that, Vikram, again for this
Yeah.
mapping?
Yeah. Let's save it, and then I will show you one more GL account from scratch. Okay, so once this is done, you will click on the save button. Changes to the mapping objects has been saved. Okay, and once it is saved, what is that place where I can go and see all the mappings? What was that transaction yesterday? No, not BRF plus. No. Yesterday, if you remember the mappings, there was a single transaction that we discussed. It was FINS underscore CFIN underscore map, underscore manage. So this is a transaction code which will give us the list of all those objects which are already mapped. So mapping entity in our case is the general ledger account. This one. Source system is EPX client 800. Okay, and we want to see we want to display the mappings. So let's click.
So Vikram, just a quick question. So this transaction will show key and value and a cost object, all three mapping, right?
Yes. Cost object, let me see. No, I don't think it will show cost object. It will show value and key mapping.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see whether it is also showing the cost object, but I doubt cost object will not come here. I'll tell you the reason. The key mapping and value mapping, they are using MDG in the background. Okay, when it comes to the cost object mapping, that is, I think, not using MDG. MDG, you know, right? MDG is a tool which is used to distribute master data. So if you remember on day one, I think we discussed that use of MDG is optional. Okay, but you need to remember one thing. Use of MDG as a separate license product is optional. So if you want to use advanced features of MDG, like you create the master data in one system and it should be replicated to all the other systems, the mappings should be created automatically and all. Only in that case, you need an extra license. But if you are using this feature, what we are doing currently is nothing but in the background, this is also using MDG. So if you are only using MDG for key and value mapping, then you don't need to pay the separate licensing to SAP. This is pre-delivered with Central Finance, right? If you just remember, this is important because MDG, normally when we see MDG, we see, oh, this is a separate product altogether. It is separately licensed product, but we need to remember that some basic features of MDG, they are already used in Central Finance. For that, we don't need to pay extra. So for key mapping, value mapping, although they are using MDG in the background, but we don't need to pay anything separately to SAP. Only when we are using the advanced features where we are creating a master data, let's say in the Central Finance system, and we want to distribute it to our source systems automatically by creating the mappings, only in those cases there is a separate licensing required. Otherwise, there is no separate licensing. This is very much part of Central Finance itself. Okay, so here I want to see whether our combination has been created or not. So our source chart of account, maybe we will do the filter here. Our source chart of account is CF01. You can see this is exactly what we have created. So source chart of account CF01, source GL account 4000 is assigned to target chart of account CF03 and target GL account 45 times 0. So if this combination doesn't exist here, then definitely whenever you will try to replicate, if this GL is not mapped to the target GL, again, it depends. If you have made the settings as keep data, then system will by default go and try to post everything in this GL. But if you say that mapping is obligatory, then system will check here whether this GL account is mapped to the target GL account or not. If not, it will stay there in the error corrections and suspense accounting. That is, you'll be able to watch this in interface monitor. Okay, so one more I'll create so that you get a complete idea how exactly it works. So I created one for the refreshment. Second one that I want to create is, let's say, for bank. So I'm just adding 2 additional zeros just to keep it simple. In practical scenarios, it may be the completely different number, right? So you have to, this is anyways the responsibility of the business to provide you the source GL account and target GL account, but it can be different. Just keep in mind, it can be different. It can be completely different numbers. Okay, and you will.
Vikram,
Yeah.
normally there will be a load, right? You test a few of them, then you will load it, but even though before you load it, you have to make sure you map it correctly in the load data set, right?
Yes. That is when you load now, there are different steps in the loading. So before you actually do the load, there are a lot of checks which are performed in the background, and you can see, you can simulate also the loading before you go for the actual load.
So they will be using the LTMC for this.
No. This is not LTMC. LTMC is when you are doing the green feed. This is LTRC.
Okay, so they can use. Okay.
Yeah, just remember in central finance we don't use LTMC. You will use LTMC when you want to upload the data from the legacy system. But if you
Yeah.
are using real-time application or initial load, then instead of LTMC you will be using
It's breaking. Use LTRC.
LTRC, which is a SLT tool.
Do we have access to this system, Vikram, or no?
Sorry?
Do we have access to this system?
Yeah,
See if
today
you
we will
connect.
get this access.
Okay, it will be connected system, right?
I already yeah, you'll be getting today.
Okay. It's breaking. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Is it breaking? Are you not able to hear me clearly?
It's pulsating.
Others?
Breaking comes back. Breaking comes. It's pulsating.
For all or just for you? Others are able to hear me properly?
So right now it's good, but once a while I also heard the breaking, but it's not that bad so far.
Okay. If it is still there, you just tell me so that I will try to reconnect with other network if required.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm creating the general ledger account for a bank this time. I'll go to control data. Whatever field you feel are important here, you can maintain. You can see here it is not asking you for cost element category. The reason is this is a balance sheet account, and normally in balance sheet account we don't need to worry about the cost element category. Okay, it will not transfer anything to the cost object. And field status group, I will go with Y005, sorry, YB05, which is related to bank accounts. Okay, let's try to save this also. So now coming to the question that Farooq asked, I'll explain once again. Whatever GL accounts you create here, okay, and if you want to flow the values from your source systems to these GL accounts, you have to make sure that these GL accounts are properly assigned to the source GL accounts for each source system, right? And how will you do that? So this is nothing but the key mapping. General ledger account is a key mapping. So for key mapping, you will go to IMG activity, and here you will click on create and edit the key mapping, right? Once you click on this, it will take you to this Explorer, to the browser, and here you will be able to see different objects. Okay, so in our case, our object is general ledger master data. That is the reason we selected this. This is where you specify what is your target system. Okay, this comes by default. And then here you need to provide which combination you want to maintain. So for example, now I want to maintain another combination. So I'll click on this edit button. Okay, it will ask me for which GL account I want to maintain this combination. So I want to maintain this for 2 5 times 0. If I click on OK and click on show, you can see system is clearly saying that this combination is not maintained at all. So I'll tell the system to maintain this configuration, clicking on add row. So this is my target GL account. My source system is EPX client 800, and I want to map this to chart of account CF01 and GL account 2000. Okay, and I'll click on save. So this is one by one. You can see in this transaction, if I'm doing this activity, this is okay whenever a business wants to add single GL account. But when you are actually doing this central finance implementation, if there are thousands of GL accounts, definitely you will not come here and do this one by one. Okay, so what is the corresponding option? What is the alternate option? Alternate option is you will go to this cfin underscore FINS underscore cfin underscore map underscore manage program. And what you will do is you will come here and you will tell the system to generate a template. Okay, and I'll tell the system to generate the template on the desktop with name as, let's say, vik.csv. Okay, and click on execute. So what it will do is it will create a blank file on the desktop. You can see this CSV file. So double click on this, and this is where there are multiple columns. You can see comma separated. So source chart of account is first column, semicolon. Source GL account is second column. Source company code is third column. Target chart of account, target GL account, and target company code. So there are 6 fields. Now, based on your requirement, maybe you will keep chart of account blank or you will keep company code blank. So whatever information you want to enter here, you will fill this. Maybe you will give this template to your business so that they can come up with the entire end-to-end list of the objects with the mappings. And then once this file is ready, we have seen yesterday how to upload it. Okay, so what we will do is next time we will click on upload mappings. You specify the same file, same path, and it will upload those values in the system. Okay, so this is what we normally do when we are doing in the project. And as I told you, if required, you can ask your technical team also to create a copy of this program by not restricting this mapping entity and the source system also. You can also ask your technical team that this 2 fields also I want to see in my Excel file itself rather than uploading a separate file for each and every mapping entity. Right, so you can upload if you want to see the report, you can download also. So whatever mappings are already created, it is same as display. The only difference is display will show you here itself. Display is showing you here itself, it is not generating any file. But if you want to generate a file, you can click on the download. And last one, if you want to delete something, if you want to delete all the mappings which are being created till now, you can come here and you can say delete mapping and execute. It will delete all those values which are deleted, sorry, which are available in the system till now. Okay. You understood now how to do the key mapping?
Available means in the S4HANA, from the source in S4HANA mapping, correct? Delete.
Right, exactly. So this is S4HANA and this is source.
Yeah, by mistake, if you do any accidents, that delete will wipe off everything mapped that's in S4.
No, that is the reason this program which I'm showing you, this program should not be given to the end user. This is a program for you.
Okay.
The consultant using this program, because definitely when you are working on the project, see, initial load can be done only once. Once you've done the initial load, again you want to try. So what you will do? You definitely need to go and delete the initial load that you have done. So if you are working on the sandbox system, test system, there will be multiple iterations that you will be doing, right?
Yeah.
So definitely it will be the option. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to work on the project.
Yeah.
That is the reason these options are provided. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so next one, I will create some cost centers and profit centers also, because without which we will not be able to post any document. And again, we will try to map these profit centers and cost centers also to our source system.
Once we are satisfied with the mapping and the loading into S4, then we will tell the technical guys, hey, go ahead, this is a mapping sheet, go ahead and mass upload, right?
No. It is not technical responsibility to mass upload. We will be doing the initial load. We are responsible for the initial load also.
Okay.
The LTRC, if you are asking the question from the LTRC point of view, LTRC setup is a technical activity.
Okay.
But the LTRC, when it is set up for the replication and initial load, that again, it depends. If you are confident, you can take it on your own. Otherwise, technical person will do it, but you will be monitoring in the interface monitor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So interface monitor will be, this is the monitor, right?
No. Interface monitor is, if you remember, I shown you.
Oh.
If you go to /n/AIF/IFMON, this is interface monitor. So as soon as you post any accounting document, and if your replication is active, or even the initial load is active, you have done the initial load, what will happen is postings will start flowing from the source to the target. Okay, and if there is any error, you can see these are the postings in error. Why? Because these are the postings relevant to company code RELI1 and the GL account master data. You can see the error is same, the one that we just now set up. The GL account, which is coming from the source system, is not assigned to the target system GL account. You can see account 1 and 281, they are not mapped properly in key mapping. That is the reason it is generated. So this is called as error and suspense accounting.
Okay.
This is the AIF monitor tool, which will help you to identify if there are any errors during the replication or initial load.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll go to profit center accounting, create some profit centers and cost centers, and we will map those profit centers, cost centers also using the MDG mappings. So cost center accounting is controlling. I'll go to profit center accounting, basic settings, same way what we have done in ECC day before yesterday. So controlling area settings, maintain controlling area settings. So here our standard hierarchy, again I'm creating a same CF03, profit center currency. I will go with controlling area currency, and I will activate the indicator for profit center accounting, which means profit center accounting is now active in my company code. Okay, let's come out and create a profit center. So KE51. What was the profit center that we created in our ECC system? Let's go and see. KE53, controlling area CF01. We just created one. Yeah, if you remember, I told you, let's say we have a laptop and a desktop division. Now, just assume this particular company, CF01, has only two divisions, has only two profit centers, laptops and desktops. But when I'm talking about the central finance system, this is at the group level, right? It is not only desktops, laptops. Let's assume it is not only into the IT hardware, it is also into, let's take electronics. So it is doing computers as well as electronics. So it is possible that here, when the customer is creating the profit center hierarchy, he may create for desktops or laptops, instead of using the old code that we have used, here he is directly using like this. Okay, so although the description is same, the purpose is same, but there can be the difference in the naming conventions, the codings. Okay, so profit center laptop CF03, and here I'll create this as laptop itself. Person responsible will be manager. Profit center group is only one hierarchy that we created, and try to activate it. Okay, so this is profit center we have created in the target system. Now this profit center I want to assign to the source profit center in my source system, right? So again, I will go to the key mapping itself. What I'll do here is I will go to the profit center. You can see this one. Okay, and which profit center we want to map? Just verify there is only one entity here. Yeah, click on the profit center, click on this button and provide your controlling area in target system, which is CF03, and profit center is laptop. Okay, key mapping does not exist for this object, which is correct. What we should do is, why it is not showing? Yeah, now it is showing add rows. So add rows, here you will come and you will specify your source client, which is EPX client 800, and here you will specify your source profit center, which is controlling area CF01, and profit center. What are the profit center code? It's CF01-1. Okay, so now this profit center is assigned to this profit center. Whenever any accounting document will be posted in ECC system, in our source system, whenever this profit center would be used, okay, this profit center is mapped to laptop. So in the target system, whenever you will be able to see the reports, you will be able to see under the profit center laptop. It will not show you the CF01-1. It will only show you what is the data created in the target system based on these mappings. Okay, so this is profit center. Let's see whether the cost center is also here in the key mapping. You can see cost center group, also the cost center. So let's create one cost center, and then we will try one posting. If everything is working fine in the target system, we will target other mapping entities then. So KS01, to create a new cost center, we created the cost center as admin. So laptop division and admin cost center 01/01/2020. Enter. So this is admin for laptop. Person responsible is manager again. Cost center category, I'll keep it W, which is for admin. Hierarchy area, there is only one. It will populate automatically. If you want to specify the business area, you can specify. But anyways, we already said the system that keep the data. Sorry, we already mapped the business area, if I'm not wrong. If not, we will map it now. Currency is INR, and profit center is the one that we created just now, which is laptop. Okay, let's try to save it. Now this cost center should be assigned to the cost center that we created in our target system. Sorry, in the source system. So KS03, let's do F4. It is CF-1, and it is also for admin laptop. So cost center, click on this, specify your target controlling area, which is CF03, and specify your target cost center, which is LAP-ADM, the one that we have created just now. Click on show. Okay, so no mapping exists. Click on add row, select your source system here, and specify the source object. So our controlling area is CF01 in our source system, and cost center is CF01-1. Okay, and save it. So I think by now you must be comfortable in the key mappings. But as I told you, this is a very straightforward mapping. Normally what happens is when you go to the central finance projects, the mappings may not be so easy. Mappings in the sense, so here we are doing 1:1 mapping. Just assume that the business is having a requirement that there is a condition. If this is a condition, then this cost center would be assigned to this. If the condition is not true, then this cost center will get the values from another cost center. So if there are this complex logics, then only you need to involve your technical. So let's say if there are 50 objects that you are mapping, out of that 30, 35 customer will agree as per the standard one, but remaining 10, 12, those objects, if it requires the advanced configuration, then you will definitely need the technical help to perform those mappings. Okay, so they will be also using this, whatever is pre-delivered, they will just add the code in the background and they will just write the small user exit so that the data is mapped according to the business requirements. Okay, so
is there
now
a predefined BAPIs or baddies, Vikram?
yes, exactly. Your ABAP will be doing the same thing. When I'm saying technical, they will be definitely doing this BAPIs, bodies, if required, user exits to change the behavior of the standard system and accommodate the customer's requirements.
There should be predefined known baddies, right?
Yes. SAP, in any functionality, SAP provides the standard bodies enhance bodies, and they also provide in order to enhance that, they also provide the enhancement bodies. But that is actually the technical job to identify which body is being used in the background and how to change the behavior. I can show you. There are some bodies which are provided by SAP within the central finance folder itself to enhance the functionality which is pre-delivered. But again, the decision will be taken by your technical team, like what needs to be changed. So let me show you some advanced. Yeah, you can see bodies in central finance. So these are the standard bodies. If you want to enhance them, then they have to use these bodies to accommodate your customer's requirement. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. Let's try to book one single transaction and see whether everything is working fine in our target system before we start doing the initial load. Definitely before initial load, we have to do a lot of other mappings, and we will keep some mappings open so that we are able to see if the mappings are not in place, where exactly we will be able to see the errors, how to solve those errors, and then only we will be confident that whenever we are working on this kind of projects, we know how to handle it, we know how to check the errors and all those things. So CF03 is fine. I'm just providing some.
So Vikram, are you creating a transaction in target system?
This is target. I'm just verifying whether my target system is ready or not. There should not be any account issues that we are getting, right? Yeah.
Okay.
But as I told you, this is this system. This is my sandbox system. It is completely fine to post. But normally in the production system, we don't try such things. So we can do these things in the development, in the quality, and if it is working fine, then obviously it will work fine in our production also.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So this is going to be credit. This is going to be debit. Let's say 1000 and 1000. And obviously it will ask me for cost center. So I'll provide the cost center LAP-ADM. Okay, for bank account, it is asking me the value date. So 31st/07/2020. Okay, let's try to save it. Perfectly fine, which means our target system is also ready to get the values. There is no problem from the set configurations point of view when it comes to the accounting configuration. Now only problems can be the mappings. Once the mappings are done, system is now able to get the data and post it into the CF03 company code. Okay, so let me open the Excel, because this is very important activity. What you need to do is, during the project, what you should do is you should create an Excel of all the objects which are available in the value mapping and in the key mapping. Okay, so what you can do is simply Let's go to, this is which one? Yeah, this is S4HANA. So in SPRO, for example, let's go to Central Finance, mappings, and let's talk about define the mapping actions for the mapping entities. There are 106 objects. Okay, you should try to take this list in your Excel. Okay, maybe I'm just showing you for example's sake. So I'll say Control Y. Okay, you can also download from the table if you want. I'm just trying to show you this example. So let's say I copied this. Okay, if you want, I can copy the remaining ones also, but unnecessarily it will take more time. So what is the purpose? You first take a list of all those objects which are delivered by SAP to perform the mappings. And then here you create one column. So this is a mapping object. This is a description. And here you will write relevant to your project or not. Okay, so reason for rejections for the sales document. You have to see your business scenario. Accordingly, you have to take the decision whether this is relevant or not. Result analysis key, accounting principle. Okay, so let's take example. So this is not relevant. Again, just example. As I told you, it totally depends upon your business. Result analysis key, let's say yes, it is. I need to map this. Accounting principle, yes, I need to map this. Activity types, yes, I need to map it. Environmental investment, I am not using, so I'll say no. Sales document type may not be no, I don't want to fetch that. FI document type, definitely yes. Budget profile, maybe. So as of now, I'm saying no. Planning profile, let's say yes. These are all related to the internal objects, internal orders. Budget profile, planning profile, order types from the purchasing. So no. Posting key, yes. Company code, definitely yes. Movement type for the inventory, let's say I want to say no. Cost component number, I want to say no. So like this, you have to first identify which are those objects which are relevant to your business. Okay, and this is not a very straightforward task. You have to go through multiple levels of discussions and you have to finalize this. Okay, what is relevant and what is not relevant. And whatever is relevant, then obviously you have to identify whether this is a value mapping or a key mapping. So accordingly, if it is a value mapping, irrespective of whether it is a value mapping or a key mapping, you need to download the template and you need to give this template. Okay, let's take an example. So we identified that cost center ID is relevant. What I will do now is I will download the cost center mapping template and I will provide it to the respective person who is responsible for providing me this data. So now it is his responsibility to tell me which source cost center would be assigned to which target cost center. Right? He will provide you the file and your job is just to upload that file in the system. So you can keep on adding this more columns here, whether you have provided the template to the business or not. Who is the responsible person to provide the data? So here you can write who is responsible as a from the business point of view, not from the IT point of view. Who is responsible to provide you this data? Whether you have provided the template or not, whether the template has been submitted by the responsible person or not, whether you have uploaded that template or not. So this Excel file will give you the complete picture where exactly you stand in terms of the mappings. Apart from the mappings, which we are able to see in this table, if there are any additional mappings which you are able to see in value or key mapping, you will keep on adding those. There may be some Z objects also, which are not part of the standard mapping objects, but the customer wants to map it. So again, definitely you will involve your technical guy there. You will create some Z fields, which needs to be mapped from the source to the target. Okay, so based on all those things, you have to first identify what mapping objects needs to be mapped. Okay, and then you will start doing the mapping in the system once you receive the files. In our case, we are assuming that we already received, and that is the reason we are just going one cost center assigning to the another cost center, because we have a limited data in the sandbox. But when it comes to the real-time project, there can be thousands of cost centers, thousands of GLs from one system. If you are implementing it for 10 different systems, then you can understand what will be the data volume. So the most important activity, in short, when it comes to the central finance implementations, is mapping. You have to do the mapping correctly. If your mapping is correct, then there is no problem from the initial load in the replication. Most of the errors that you will get in the replication are only because this object is not mapped, that object is not mapped, and that is the reason system is not able to post. If you have done enough analysis on the mapping strategy, if you are invested enough time to get the data properly from the responsible person, and you mapped it properly, then your initial load and your replication will work fine.
Vikram, normally in CFIN, you don't bring in sales document type.
No, that actually depends. Sales document type normally we definitely don't bring, because we are only concentrating on the financial data.
The reason I'm asking is in the financial data, and if you turn on the predictive ledger, do you want that or no? Don't want it.
No, let's not get confused, Aisha. That is an advanced scenario. We will definitely discuss as separately.
Okay.
So COPA, your predictive analysis, and all these things, these are the advanced scenarios, even central payment. So as of now, understand the basic documents, how they will flow. Later on, we will come to the different scenarios. How will you use the advanced features which are available in the S4HANA?
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so what I'll do now is we will just see which of these objects, only from the financial point of view, we will not go in any other. We will just see which are the objects relevant to us. Okay, so simply what I'll do is I will, which is this one, right? So let me copy all this. We will also do the same exercise so that you are confident what exactly we are doing here should be done in your projects also. Okay, because we also need to do the mapping before we start the initial load. We also need to do these mappings. So we will identify what are those objects where there is a mapping required. If you take it from the table, it will be very straightforward. It will not take this much time. But anyways, there are only 106 objects. Sorry. Okay. Now, as I told you, we will only consider those objects which we have replicated till now. We will not unnecessarily take those objects which we have still not explored. So, relevant to our project or not. Our project is the sandbox that we are using currently. So reason for rejection, not result analysis key, not at this stage. Accounting principle, yes. Activity type, not at this stage. Reason, no. Sales document type, no. Document type, yes. Budget profile, no. Planning profile, no. As of now. Posting key, yes. Company code, yes. Costing variant. So I'm just going with yes, and I'm not writing. Company ID may not be at this stage. Cost center, yes. Cost element, yes. ERP customer number, yes. Block key for payment, we already know, so I'll keep the data. Block key for payment, I'll try to keep the same blocking keys which are available in the source system. Payment method also I'm ignoring as of now, or maybe let's say yes. Payment method, assignment number, purchasing group, no. Factory calendar, ledger group, yes. Tax procedure, yes. Billing type, no. Functional area, no. General ledger account, yes. Business area, yes. Internal order, yes. Sorry, internal order is this one. Reason for investment, no. Payroll type, no. Equity, no. All these things are no. Customer group, this is only for the master data point of view. So anyways, I have to create, because I'm not using MDG, which means I have to create a customer separately in the central finance system also. Controlling area, yes. Exchange rate type, yes. Dunning area as of now, no. Maintenance, no. Dunning block, no. Country code, no. Tax on sales purchase, this is nothing but tax code. Ledger, yes. ERP vendor, yes. Spatial year indicator, yes. Version, is it CO version? Okay, as of now, I'm not touching this. Okay, so we identified how many of these are relevant to us. How many of the mappings we need to perform before we start the initial load.
Time also should be checked.
Sorry, which one?
Transaction time.
Is it asset related? Where is transaction type? This one. Okay, let's say yes. We will see whether it is asset related or what. Definitely, we missed something, but we will see those when we try to replicate. It will definitely throw those errors. So data filter, and I want to concentrate only on yes. Okay, so these are the mappings that are required to be done before we start the initial load. Okay, accounting principle, let's do it one by one. Now in ECC we don't have any accounting principles. How will you map here? So that is a question. Let's try to do that. For that I will go to, what is the accounting principle? Is it a key mapping or a value mapping?
Value.
Value mapping, right? It is a configuration. So maintain the value mappings. Okay, just see accounting principle, this one. Click on this, and here you need to provide the values. So new entry. Now in ECC, we only have single, this one. In ECC, we only have a single ledger. So definitely both the accounting principles, my GAAP also and IFRS also will take the same values which are available in my single ledger, right? And that is the reason I need to provide the same coding here. So just 1 minute, is it a correct mapping tool? Let me just copy from the one which is already there. So if I go to bookers, what you need to maintain here, just see here, mapping ID. I think this is a numerical number. This is your source system. List ID is nothing but the object that you are mapping, and list version is 01. Okay, I'll try to do the same thing in accounting principle. So accounting principle, new entry, this is 01. This is my EPX client. So it is EPX error when communicating with, okay, EPX. I think it is trying to take, maybe I'll copy it. EPX client, no, it is not allowing. Okay. So 01, I'll paste it. List ID is accounting principal, and this was also 01. Okay, and within this, I need to do the mappings. So what is my internal code? My internal code is, we assigned one FRS, and second we assigned is GAP. No, sorry, IN, India gap, right? The second one that we assigned is India gap. From where it will take the values. Now in ECC, we don't have any accounting principles assigned. Okay, so either we need to assign in ECC itself some external code values, or maybe we can keep it blank. I think blank, let's try if it is taking the values or not. So if it is blank in my source system, it will go to IFRS as well as it will go to 1N. Okay, let's
so
start.
basically we are saying if the in the document, if the ledger is not there, take it but how is gonna know that it's gonna post it to the both ledgers? Got it.
Right. See, whenever the documents will come from the source system, the values will be blank, because when we created the, or maybe if you want 1:1, let me show you one thing.
But the ECC should have some ledger, right? So shouldn't
yes,
be defining that ledger here?
There is leading ledger, na, 0L. In ECC, we only assign single ledger, leading ledger. But here we want to take the values in both.
Got it. Since we just have a one ledger, we don't need to tell the ledger here. Basically, that's what you're saying.
Also, no, ledger is also there. Accounting principle is also there, and ledger is also there.
But why we are keeping that thing blank?
No, let me complete this. I think you will get the answer. See, let's take an example. You have company code CF01. Okay, in CF01, let's assume you got two ledgers, 0L and IF. Again, in the source system itself, your leading ledger is assigned to GAAP, gap. Your IF is assigned to IFRS. Now coming to the target system. In my target system, my company code is CF03. Right, my ledgers are 0L, and instead of IF, I have created I1. Right, so IF will be assigned to I1. And my accounting principles are one FRS, and second one is IN, or maybe the other way around. So this is for IN and this is for one FRS. So that is the reason we are mapping. We are not only mapping the ledgers, we are also mapping the accounting principles. So this gap, if it is assigned to this, whatever values will come from the ECC system where the accounting principle is gap, it will take this accounting principle in S4HANA.
So, I mean, in functionality wise, I mean, in a regular, on a sunny day, right? So this gap should be mapped with the gap, right? Technically, right? I mean, I know we can map it with anything else, but in real scenario.
Definitely. So this is IN is India gap. So here it was assigned to gap. Here it is assigned to India gap. But these two are same. Even here also, if you see in your source system, it was assigned to IFRS. But here the accounting principle code is different. Otherwise, both are reporting in IFRS only. Both are reporting in gap only.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So we need to map the ledgers also, and we may need to map the accounting principles also. Okay. Same way, we need to map the document types. Now what we can do is, if the document types we are using standard one, most of the time the document types we are using standard one, except the CO documents which are now delivered in S4HANA. So what we can do is, we can say mapping optional, which means if no mapping provided, take the same document types which are used in the source system, right? Instead of mapping the document types separately, instead of mapping the posting keys separately, what we can do is we can go to this configuration. If you remember, central finance target, okay, and mapping. So we can go to this configuration and we can tell the system that when it comes to document type, I don't want to provide mapping for each and every document type. So keep the data means keep the same document type which is coming from the source system even in the target system also. Or if there are few cases where my document type may change. For example, in ECC, I don't have document type CO, or maybe I created some new document types in S4HANA, okay, which are not there in ECC. In that case, what I can do is I can say map if possible, which means system will first check if the corresponding mapping is available for the document type or not. If it is not available, it will take the same document type which is coming from the source system. Does it make sense? I think this would be the better idea for the document types, right?
Yeah, that's a better option basically. Restrict you to use as is. This will safeguard if something is unknown.
Exactly. So it will save a lot of time if you keep on mapping the same SA to SA, AB to AB, AA to AA. That is not required. We will only map where there is a difference between the source and the target. Wherever it is same, we will not map it and we will say map if possible. Right? Same way when it comes to the posting key. Now posting keys are system delivered. We normally don't create our own posting keys. So there is no point doing this mapping. So again, what we will do, we will tell the system to keep the data or maybe map if possible. If you say keep the data, then system will just take whatever posting key is available in the ECC system to the S4HANA system. Okay, but if you say map if possible, again, if you have provided some mapping, it will take it from here. So I think map if possible is also fine. So at least if map if possible is selected, we don't need to go into the mappings and create the mappings for each and every value. Wherever there is a value which is unique, which is not available in the target system, only in that case, system will give the error. It will be available in the error monitor, where you can go and see that this document type is trying to post in the central finance, but there is no corresponding mapping available for the document types. Okay, what is next? Company code we already done. Cost center also we just now done. Cost element ID. If you want to map the cost elements, again this will be available under the key mappings. So we will go to cost element. Okay, so our CO area is CF03 and the cost element that we created is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and click on show, add row. Same way, we will just take this EPX client 800 and here we will map it to CF01 and 4000. This was our GL account. This was our cost element in the source system. Okay, and save it.
And Vikram, why we are not giving the company code with that?
It is up to you. It is up to you when you are mapping here. This is a selection criteria. So we are saying for controlling area CF03 cost element 4000, we want to map it to controlling area CF01 and cost element 400. If your requirement is, let's assume within this controlling area you have different company codes. In that case, you can specify company code wise different mapping if you want.
Okay, so you are saying everything in that.
Exactly. So it depends how you want to map. So if your mapping is based on CO area and cost element, then you don't need to maintain this. If you want to maintain, that is not a problem. You can maintain this also. So it will automatically determine the cost center also, your source cost center and target cost center also. Okay. So is this saved? Yes. What is next? ERP customer number. First of all, we have to create the customer in S4HANA. Then only we'll be able to map the customers. So this is something which we need to still perform. So I will add another column, done or not. So in our case, this is not done. Okay, what else? Block key for payment. This is the blocking indicators, right? If your payment is blocked in your source system, if you have created an invoice and you want to block this invoice for payment and you want to move the same data in the target system also. But this is normally blocking of payment. You normally don't move to the central finance. I'll tell you the reason. Are you going to do the payment from both the systems or only one system?
Central payment is one system.
No, either central payment, if you are activating, then yes. If you are not activating central payment, which means the payment will be done from the source system itself.
That's correct.
But at any point, you are not going to do the payment from both the systems. It
No.
will be either.
So it's a central payment. Central payment. So one system should do.
Right. So either in the source or in the target. So this block key for payment may not be required to be transferred to the central payment, central finance. Why? Because anyways, we are not making the payment from the central finance system. But yes, there is a purpose in case if you are using cash management component in S4HANA and you want to clearly show this in the cash flow analysis report that although this invoice is due, I need to pay to the vendor, but as of now, this is blocked. So as of now, don't consider this in the cash flow. In that case, you need to migrate the block key for payment also. So these are standard. I think it must be already configured, but we will see.
Can I ask you a question, Vikram? One more question related to that.
Go ahead.
So since we are not making a payment, we are not enabling the right now in this scenario, we are not enabling it. Then why we need a customer as well? We don't need a customer either. We just need a GL posting.
No. If you see, customer is for the reports. If you want to know who are your top 10 customers, if you don't know the customer data, then what analysis you will get in the central finance system? It is not only about customer is not only for the receivables or payables. Customer is also to do the analysis on how much sales you are making to this customer.
But where are you going to save? Because when the postings is coming in for general posting, which is not an open AR or APs, those will have a customer that will going to have a reconciliation account or something else, right? The GL posting.
Right.
So how the customer is going to be captured?
Exactly. So that is a topic that we are going to discuss in central payments. So your question is valid. You're asking that if I'm making the payment from one system, then unnecessarily it will keep on showing open in my central finance system. How to take care of that? Yeah, that is exactly is a decision whether you are going to use the payments in the source system or you are going to do the payments in the target system. So if you are doing the payments in the source system, then there must be something available in the target system to tell it that whether it is cleared or not. Right? Same way, if you are making the payments from the central finance system, the source system must know whether this document is cleared or not. So that is something which we'll be discussing during the central payment session.
But for this scenario, when you are just taking the SA document, how this SA document will have a customer embedded? That's what I'm trying to understand.
No. SA, it is not only about SA. It can be any document. Normally, customer will come in DR, DZ.
Okay. When you are bringing DR, then if the central payment is not using, it's a purposeless, the DR document.
No. Exactly. I got your point. The same thing I'm saying. We need to understand this in the central payment section.
Okay.
As of now, what we are trying to do, just understand the first purpose is to replicate the data. Once you replicate the data, then you will know the challenges. I want to show you those challenges. If you just replicate the data, first of all, what data will be replicated and what is not possible to be replicated. We will first discuss that. And then whatever has been replicated, what are the challenges in that? So how to tackle those challenges, those are the advanced scenarios. So our first purpose is just to replicate and do the initial load. Once that is done, we will talk about what challenges we are facing and how to take care of those challenges.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we were, yeah, block key for payment. So block key should come here itself. Value mapping, yes. Is it showing the technical name? Yeah, DZAHLS. This one, right? AHLS. So it is not maintained. So if you want to maintain that, again, you have to provide the mapping ID 01, the source client. Okay, so as of now, we don't have any blocking keys. That is the reason I'm just skipping this. So maybe I'll say as of now, delete this. But yes, if it is required later on, we have to do it. Payment method, I'm just removing as of now. Assignment number is a field, if you remember, assignment field in the accounting document. So if you don't want to include that, that is also fine. Ledger group, yes. Ledger group, we need to assign ledger group 0L to 0L. Our source system is having the ledger group 0L. We want to replicate the same one into the target system also. So for ledger group, it is FAGL ledger group. So let's go back. FAGL ledger group. Okay, so let me create this new entry. I'll use the same what I used earlier. List ID would be FAGL ledger group itself, right? This one. Okay, and I want to assign ledger group 0L to 0L. So internal is also 0L and external is also 0L. Okay, what is next? Text procedure. This is important because otherwise, if you are using text code, not even text code, text procedure first and then text code. So text procedure, if you are using one text procedure in your source system and you have a separate text procedure in the target system, that also you need to map clearly. As of now, I'm skipping this, or maybe if you want, I can just maintain it. It will not take time. So we need to see which text procedure is assigned to our country in the source system and which text procedure is assigned to our country in the target system. Based on that, we have to do the mapping. So how can we do that? Assign country to the text procedure. Our country in both the cases is IN. So you can see in the target system, this is my text procedure. I don't know who created this, but normally it should be text INN or text INJ. Let's take it whatever it is. Okay, so this is in the target. So what I need to do is text procedure FINS text. FINS text. This one. New 01. Again, it will create a problem. Not allowing me to EPX client because I already copied that. So Yeah, I can copy from here. Okay, and then value mapping. So new entry, this is my internal, which I copied from, there is text procedure, this one. So country IN, this text procedure is my target, and it should be assigned to the source. So I need to go to the source system. This is my source system. Here also someone has assigned C. But anyways, I just want to maintain the mapping. So this is my external, right? Try to save it. Same way, we also need to maintain the text code. So for text code, just one above one, which is, I think this one, but let's see. So this is done. General ledger account we already maintained. Business area, let's see, GSBER. GS will come down. BER, this one. Okay, it is already maintained, but let's see. Test is maintained to test. What we created, in our case, we created, do you remember what was our business area? I think it was NY itself, right? In the source system, it's 2F4. Here it was NY01, if I'm not wrong. No, it is NY. I think we kept it as it is. That is the reason we don't need to maintain also. Even if we don't maintain this, if we say the keep data, it will automatically take as it is. Second was Washington. So WA. If you don't want to maintain, just go to GSBER in this section and say keep data. Here, if you go to GSBER, this one, keep data, which means even this combination is not required in that case. I can remove this combination or I can keep it as it is. It will not make any difference. So business area is also done. What else? Internal order, as of now, we don't need to worry. So I'm just writing this is not done till now because we have still not created any internal orders. Controlling area, yes, we have to assign controlling area CF03 to CF01. So controlling area KOKRS, if I'm not wrong. This is controlling area, right? Let's see. It is already mapped. So these two are mapped. I want to add my own one, which is CF03 to CF01. Save it. So this mapping is also done. Exchange rate type, I think this is standard. KURST, this must be already maintained. M2M, KURST. KURST. It is not maintained. What we can do is, if it is M is to M, we can say keep data. Okay, in our scenario, it may not be applicable for the customer. So you have to see in the customer scenario what exactly it should be. So here, if I go to mapping entity, business system is EPX, and I want to keep the data, which means whatever is the exchange rate type in my source system, I want to keep it as it is. So there is no mapping requirement. Then you have text code, which is MWSKZ. So here MWSKZ. This one, it is not maintained, so new entry 01, it is on. So EPX, I need to copy this. MWSKZ 01 value mapping. So here internal code, I think we used when we posted our documents in ECC. What was the text code that we used? I think it was V0 itself, right? Let's go and see in FB03 document list, company code CF01, and document type, let's see first for KR, text code, text code it is not showing. How come? Text code is already there. Text code is already there, but it is blank. So in this transaction it is not there, but let's try to see in TR. Here also it is blank. It was asking yesterday, right? When we were trying to post, I think it was asking in Miro documents. So here it must be there. This is, no, it is not there at all. So anyways, if it is not there, we don't need to worry about it. It is here, V0. So we will just maintain V0 to V0 in the target system also. So V0 to V0, save it. Or you keep it as keep data. If your text codes are same, then you will go for keep data. But normally it will not be same. Okay, what else? Ledgers, vendor number, we have to do it. I'm saying no. Spatial GL indicators we will do now. Transaction type we will see, and ledgers. These are the three settings that we need to complete now. So let's go to the ledger RLDNR. This one, new 01. RLDNR 01. Mappings, new entry, ledger, right? So 0L would be assigned to 0L. Okay, so this is a ledger settings. 0L, whatever is posted in 0L in the source system, it will get replicated in 0L in the target system. And by default, whenever anything will be posted in going forward, whatever will be posted in 0L, that will also get replicated in 0L itself. Okay, save it. Next is transaction type RMVCT. RMVCT, this one. New entry 01 control V RMVCT 01 and try to map the transaction type. But what exactly is this transaction type? Let me see if it is related to asset or not. I will recommend maybe transaction type we can either skip, or we can, as of now, we can just say keep data. We have to see what exactly is this transaction type. So I'm not maintaining this. I will say no as of now in my Excel sheet, which means this is still pending. Vendor we will have to create, and then we have to map. And the last one is spatial GL indicators, UMSKZ. So we will go to UMSKZ. This one. Again, it is not maintained. So new entry. UMSKZ. Okay, try to save it. A and F, these are our two. I'm just assigning two, or maybe I think even this one are standard, right? So is there any point in mapping two? What will happen otherwise is system will pick this two, for others it will throw error if I say mapping obligatory. So better for this one also, UMSKZ, I will prefer to keep the standard one, which means I will go to this configuration and I will tell the system for UMSKZ, it should be keep data. Keep data. By default, it is keep data only. Okay, so now we are left with customer and vendor. These two are important. If I want to do my initial load, these two are important. My customer number and vendor number, these two are important. So what I need to do is I need to create a customer, I need to create a vendor, and I need to assign them to each other in my key mapping. Okay, so maybe this one we can see in our next session. And in the next session, our target would be to start initial load. We will see how initial load works, what are the different kinds of errors that we are getting, how to solve those errors, how to re-post the items which are triggering in error. And if it works fine, then we will talk about the advanced scenarios in the coming sessions.
Vikram, today is 7th session or 6th session today?
This is 6th.
6th, yeah, okay.
Last week we had 2 sessions. This week we had 4 sessions.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions on mapping now? Are you comfortable with the mappings? There are at least 2 types of mapping.
It's not easy. I don't think so. I don't know how much I am absorbing.
No problem. So that is the reason. What I will do is maybe by today afternoon India time, I will share the system accesses with you. So whatever we have done till now, you have sufficient, I think, 2-3 days of time. If possible, try to replicate the same thing in your system. Then you will get a lot of confidence and you'll be able to ask relevant questions also in the next session.
Is Nickel there still? He left, probably. Vijay is there, sleeping. Vijay is there.
Not sure.
Uh-oh. Because if we, group couple of people and start mapping so that we can understand and do it together.
Do it independently. Don't be dependent on others. Otherwise, you will struggle in your project also. Do it independent.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. It is very straightforward actually.
Okay.
So, any other questions? Anyone has any questions? Okay, if not, let's close it and we will meet directly on Tuesday morning. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Vikram.